Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Level Up with Laiken. If you are looking for tangible strategies to scale up your practice and the mindset you're going to need to do it, please hit subscribe. I interview a new lawyer every week who successfully implements the strategies they're going to discuss with you to scale up their own firm. Today we have Daniel Selarz. I'm very excited about this. I've known Daniel for a long time. And I don't know if I've ever expressed gratitude to you, but I remember that I went to you when I first opened my own firm. And you told me to call you, and I did. And your first question to me is, what do you need? How can I help you?
And look how far you've come since then.
Oh, thanks. But I wanted you to know that, like, not that I keep a running tally of the people who are super supportive, but I keep a running tally of the people who are super supportive. And when I think of those people, you were always at the top of the list.
I appreciate that. Whatever
I needed, I'm like, Daniel, can you send me this? And you would send me the template. And then I discovered that your website.
I've got all of them there.
Amazing. It's like, if any young attorney out there needs a template for, oh my God, whatever, like how to live life, it's on Daniel's website.
And feel free to reach out directly if there's anything you need, any motions, any letter templates. I've pretty much spent the first 3 to 5 years of my practice building those, so I'm always open to sharing those, so let me know.
And did you do that because you just wanted to make things more efficient and automatic?
Yes, it was always the idea to get everything as automated as possible.
Okay.
And also just knowing that I'm going to need them at some point in the future. So I just put them together when I had time early on. You know, everyone knows you're going to be filing motions to compel at some point.
Yeah.
You're going to be filing, motions for, to compel depositions,
right.
Motions to compel arbitration. So just those basic ones I wanted to put together good templates for.
Right.
That where my associates can actually, or even undergrad students can put them together for us.
Okay, that's right, because you do a lot of clerks.
We do.
You have a lot of law school clerks, so I'm assuming that's probably a great training resource for you as well.
It's great, and we love our law students. We love our law clerks. We work with Southwestern, Loyola, a few from UCLA and Pepperdine, but yeah, it's just fun to have students in the office and kind of keep everything lively.
Yeah, so, and let me go there too. So Daniel, your practice focuses primarily in personal injury.
100% personal injury.
100% personal injury, and you are a professor at Southwestern.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
And the class that you teach at Southwestern is
civil litigation.
Okay.
So it's a civil pretrial practice, basically.
Is that new? Because oh my God, we did not have that.
It's fairly new. I know. Even when I was in school, we didn't have anything like that. Where you could learn how to take depositions, learn how to orally argue motions to compel. We do, how to interview a client, even just to determine is a case worth taking. So I bring in a friend or a family member. A lot of Justice HQ members actually come and you've been a really good guest deponent, I believe, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we do all the fun stuff. We actually learn how to do real litigation in the class.
And I always said that I really wished that we had learned more of that in law school. So I think that is, are you the only one at Southwestern doing that?
There's two professors. I do it every fall semester, and there's another one that does it in the spring semester.
Who's the one that does it in the spring semester?
He's fairly new. I don't remember his name, but I believe he works in big law and, comes in to do that. So it's kind of interesting. We do it from a very personal injury standpoint.
Okay.
The class isn't specific to personal injury, but we really litigate a case just like we do in practice. So the big law professor, I don't know if he teaches it as kind of basic as we do.
Okay. If you need any substantive help with that, I would love to learn.
Always.
How to do that. I'd love to learn how to teach that.
Teaching is so much fun.
Okay.
And it's something that, any of us can do, because the reality is it's just showing the law students what we do day to day.
But were you going to Southwestern to do it, or has it always been virtual?
Oh no, it was always in person until just last year was remote.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Is it going to go back to being?
So we're supposed to be back 100%, but as things are kind of still shifting, we don't know 100%.
Okay. I would imagine that the demand for that class has to be high.
Yeah, we actually have a good wait list. It's kind of cool.
And
it's exciting because all the students really want to go into either, personal injury, employment law, one of the consumer representation areas.
Yeah.
So it's just very cool. They're really into that.
I think a lot of the concepts are transferable. Right?
100%.
Like the discovery, depositions, just basic, rudimentary technique is the same.
Exactly.
Right?
And just getting up there and arguing in front of a pretend judge. is so helpful for when you do that the first time in your practice, because I'm sure you remember, as I remember, my first hearing was a case management conference, and I was shaking.
Me too.
You're shaking. It doesn't matter what it is.
I know.
And I tell the students, like, this is normal.
Yes.
Don't be worried that you're nervous. It's normal. But if you do that in school,
when they ask you to state your name.
if you don't stutter, you're ahead of the game. If you say the wrong name, I'm here for the defendant. I mean plaintiff. I have no idea. That's just normal.
I think I've done that, actually.
We've all done that. The best I'll never forget, in a mock trial in middle school, someone said, the prostitution rest instead of the and I'll never forget, it's so funny, and it's still you'll say stuff like that, and it happens.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so back to you. And I want to get into that more, because I really do think that, and I did do that, and then also we were at a convention. You were straight in the middle of this convention, teaching your class, and you're like, Ash, come over here, talk to them. Right?
That was,
oh my God.
The students thought that was the coolest thing ever.
It is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
You literally took them right into the center of the hornet's nest.
Right. What we did a little networking exercise that happened to be the topic of the class, kind of just luckily enough.
Oh, how
So we were at Law de Gras, and we had a chance to kind of just have the students by computer meeting with a bunch of different attorneys there.
Yeah.
Ashley was one of them. We had from Justice HQ, hopefully I don't miss anyone, Michelle came, was incredible. Krista was there, Lourdes was there, Daniel Petrov came by, Edwin was there, and I think that covers it all. But yeah, the students love learning about the different practice areas.
Yeah, that's amazing. And an interesting thing to do for your class that might be interesting is, instead of having the students do it, do a demonstration with other lawyers.
In what way?
Bring lawyers in and have them do a mock depo or mock cross exam or something.
And that's actually a perfect idea.
That'd be crazy.
And I want to do that during the same class, just for the first 10-15 minutes, and do a sample where it's not like Ashley being Ashley. Right. Ashley, you'll pretend to be the prick defense attorney that we all deal with, and show them how to deal with that, defense attorney when you're a new attorney.
Yeah, amazing. So, but the way that I want to go back to law school, even though no one really cares where we went to law school, but I care about.
I care. Southwestern, shout out, great school, loved it.
And it's in Southwestern, I think, is so pivotal in this community, because there are so many SW attorneys.
It's huge,
right?
Yes.
The alumni base is solid. But then you did what a lot of plaintiffs' attorneys did when they started out, which is you started working for the defense. And I noticed that you clerked for Veach Carlson,
which is the firm I worked at as an attorney for the 6 months.
And if you are a plaintiff's attorney, you're gonna have a case with them.
Oh yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. Funny enough, I have not had any cases against them.
Oh, how funny.
Which is just very
totally
strange.
have.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do.
Yeah. And you, even though you clerked there, and then, it's very common, I think, for us to start in the defense because there's job availability.
Yes.
Right? And then, but the other issue with the defense is there's high turnover. I stuck with it for almost 5 years.
Oh,
you
wow.
did 6 months.
6 months, that was it.
Yeah. And then you didn't do 6 months and then go work for, a plaintiff's firm. You did 6 months and then opened your own firm.
I did. I went right out after those 6 months on the defense side.
Why?
So, just backtracking, working on the defense side versus plaintiff is really interesting. Like Ashley said, it's such a good experience to start your career on the other side.
Right.
Whether you learn a little bit or a lot,
right.
You'll still pick certain things up that allow you to transition.
For sure.
But back to, what allowed me to shift over to the plaintiff side, basically I was going in, doing my 9 to 5, sitting in an office in a suit every day, writing motions. I was kind of miserable.
And let's be clear, when you start off as a defense attorney, it is not a 9 to 5.
You know what?
It is your billable hours.
I had the mindset of I'm only working 9 to 5.
Really?
And if they wanted to fire me, I would find another job.
Okay.
And it worked out okay doing that there.
Wow.
Because they don't bill. That firm doesn't bill.
Okay. All right. See, I did MedMal.
Okay, that's a different story. Then you have no choice but to put in the hours.
Your life was controlled by billable hours.
Yeah, I could never do that.
Okay.
Which is a huge benefit to being on the plaintiff side.
Yes.
So during my first few months there, I was so happy to have a job. It was a solid job to start out with. I was working on a case against a small-ish up-and-coming plaintiff's firm called the Simon Law Group.
No way.
Who I don't want to go over the case name or anything, but it was one of their first major verdicts, something around 7-8 million, give or take. And I literally saw that that was an option for a career path and quit the next day and went to the plaintiff side.
Do you know how many stories I hear about how the Simons influenced people?
It's true. If you're a younger attorney, it's always nice to see someone ahead of you being able to find that level of success and show you that you don't have to be a 30 year attorney to go off on your own.
See, but I love that. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I think you are probably, you probably possess an innate sense of confidence, because I saw that too. But I looked at it very differently. I would see people who would build successful plaintiff's practices, and the reason it took me so long was because I assumed they knew something I didn't.
And now you know they don't.
100%. Yeah. But I assume that the truth is it's the hungry.
Yep.
If you're hungry, you'll figure it out. If your current level, if your current place in life is more uncomfortable,
yes,
you will find a way to make that change, right?
100%.
You either got to want it, or your current position has to be so damn uncomfortable that you can't stand it.
And for me, it was exactly a combination of those two.
Right.
I was debating leaving the legal industry because I was so unhappy working the defense side.
Me too.
Yeah.
Working defense, I started Googling, what can I do?
Right, exactly.
Like, what else can I do with the JD? And I was like, nope. And then I had to ask myself, do you really want to leave trying cases? And I'm like, I don't. I really want to try cases. That's
the fun part of our business.
Yeah. So I applaud you for recognizing so early on that defense was not for you, but you also had the confidence and the courage to say, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yes, I really believe that.
Okay.
And it wasn't just that firm. It was, going up against different plaintiffs' attorneys on different cases and realizing, like you said, there's no secret here. They don't know anything I don't know. It's all about...
they don't know anything you can't learn.
Exactly. That's really the perfect phrase.
Right.
We all don't know everything, at some point. But it's all about you can learn it as you go, and you have plenty of time to learn the things.
So what would you tell, and I'm going to use a woman as an example, not because I'm trying to be sexist, but because I feel I genuinely, and this is going to be one of what I like to call the Ashley's I said what I said moments. I really feel that women are more risk averse when it comes to doing something like starting your own firm, right? Like I have, 2 kids who depend on me. I was always a lot more nervous about doing something like that than guys were like, well, if he could do it, I could do it. I'm like, no, he can do it and I can't do it because he's smarter and he knows something and he has connections and his wife works and there's a double income. Like I came up with every reason.
Yep.
Right? So for somebody, like if a young woman comes to you and says, it's in me to want to start a firm, I just don't think I can do it. Like, what would you tell her?
So, the reality is there's some truth to that. Women are, in my experience, are a little more risk averse because I think women have more responsibilities outside of their profession that they have to, take into consideration.
Yeah.
If you have kids or you have a family, it adds a whole nother layer of difficulty going off on your own and supporting everybody.
For sure.
So that's a big thing. But as far as what guidance I would give them, what recommendations would be, do it while you're young. Start early. If you're thinking about opening your own practice, whether you're a man or a woman, jump into it early because for a few reasons. One is it gives you time to fail. God forbid, hey, there's no guarantees. If something goes wrong and 2, 3 years, 4 or 5 years in, you realize it's not working out, you've learned so much that you can still go get another job. And you're still early on in your career where you haven't, really wasted any time. You're still learning during that period. So I definitely say start it early. You're also not giving up a major salary yet. If you're a 5th year to 10th year attorney, that's a big concern. I left my defense firm after 6 months. They were paying me, a first year salary.
Yeah.
So I said, who cares? I'll take the risk that I'm not going to make that 67, whatever it was to begin with.
Right.
Once you're a 5, 10 year attorney and you're making that 6-figure salary, there's a lot of pressure, to take those few years opening up your own firm because you obviously aren't bringing in money that first year, first or second or even third year. So I strongly recommend, start early. Even if you have those hesitations, just jump into it, force yourself to have the confidence, and you'll learn as you go and things will work out.
So I'm going to challenge that idea just a little bit.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Because I have a slightly different perspective, but you are also further along than I am. So I will defer to you, but I had to employ a different perspective when I started. Because what I thought in the very beginning was, if it doesn't work out, I can always go get another job. And then I was like, no, I am not going to subscribe to that. This is plan A, B, C, D, whatever. And I've surprisingly been offered jobs. I cannot tell you how many times, right? And whenever I get offered a job, it's always at a hard point where
What do you mean by that?
Meaning, like, my cases aren't coming in, meaning I'm worried about money, meaning I'm like, you know, this case I thought was going to settle just became a lot more difficult.
Well, it's funny you say it always comes at a hard point. That's just because there's naturally so many hard points in our industry.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, like, these job offers always come when the job offer looks a little more attractive than it might have last month, right?
Yes.
And I'm always like, isn't that funny how that... And I have made a deal with myself that I will not even consider. I'm just going to say no.
Right.
I'm not even going to think about it. I'm not going to consider it because this is plan A through Z. There's no plan. And I feel like that forces me to commit 100%. And I truly believe... Now, I have known people that have started their own firms that did shut it down because the truth is they didn't really like running a firm.
That's true. You have to enjoy that part of it also.
Well, I mean, I sort of enjoy it, but not really.
Right.
You know, but I do what I have to do
Exactly.
to maintain my autonomy of being on my own, right? But I do know some people are like, you know, I just want to practice law. Like, I don't want to run a firm. That is a totally different story.
Yes.
But if you are truly committed to wanting to control your own destiny and take all the risk along with it that comes with that, which is failure, you can't fail.
Yes.
Do you believe that?
So I think what your outlook on it is, I think, great and beautiful, and it's all about who you are as a person.
Okay.
For me, I do better when I'm relaxed.
Oh.
So if I have in the back of my mind,
this is worst case
even if I
scenario,
fail,
I can
who
do
cares?
it.
It's not a big
Yes,
deal. Then I don't stress day to day. But a lot of people have your mentality, and that's, you know, if I'm going to succeed at something, I need to go all in. And so it just depends who you are as a person. For me, that wouldn't work for me because that would give me stress and anxiety, which would decrease my ability to kind of run the practice.
Do you naturally have anxiety?
No, not really, because I always look at, you know, if things fail, I can always find a backup, and it's not a big deal.
Oh my God, I love you.
Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of times where working a business, you know, you have lows and anxiety. The cases don't settle. You're dealing with, you know, a tough defense attorney or an awful client. Definitely, I go through stages of anxiety and stress. But unless there's something specific, you know, I try to kind of sit back, let things work them out themselves, and just take it day to day. So any bad thing you're dealing with, obviously there's serious stuff, but as far as work goes, you know, you're going to get through whatever it is. So you have to remind yourself, do what you can do to get through that today. Maybe something lasts over till tomorrow, then you deal with it tomorrow, but eventually it goes away. You shouldn't be stressed about anything happening because you'll get over everything.
So when you were working for the defense, because I think this is something where people have differing perspectives. I have my own perspective about it, and this has caused me a lot of anxiety. When you mentioned that you were going to give that job 9 to 5, right? Now, do you have a system in place now that acknowledges work-life balance?
100%.
Talk to me about that.
I'm like embarrassed to like say what it really is, but
I need you to tell me.
It's changed, of course, every year since starting practice.
Right.
Those first 3 years, it was working, you know how it is, 24 hours a day, basically.
Yeah.
You know, the next few years, what had happened is as soon as I was able to start hiring people, I really got to the point where I just started delegating everything. As far as the pre-litigation, litigation, up till trial.
To say that, though?
Oh, no, that's not the part I'm embarrassed with. There's some days I try to work 2-3 hours a day and I'm done.
What? Okay. Why?
Why do I try to do that?
Yeah, why?
You know what? Because I believe in the work-life balance. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still picking up calls all day, all night. But as far as sitting down doing work,
I don't think we realize how much we actually are working.
We're working, yes.
Like, let me ask you this. When you say you only try to work 2 or 3 hours a day.
Sitting at a computer, actually focusing and doing work
How long
there.
have you gone without checking your work email?
Oh, every 5 minutes, of course, I check that.
Right.
So, yeah, so when I say, you know, I try to limit it to 2-3 hours as far as just formal sitting at a desk work. But of course, all day you're doing emails and calls and everything.
So, and you have, what you have, which I find to be very inspirational, is you have systems in place. I know you do because of your templates, right? Like you have systems in place that are meant to make your practice more efficient.
And that's what it does. Exactly. That's what allows me not to have to work the, 8, 9, 10 hour days.
I think the goal is, for me, right? Like what Ashley wants for her practice and her life in the future. I am a trial attorney, right? Like I want doing discovery. It is absolutely necessary, but it literally like melts my brain,
Yes.
right? Like I'm like, why am I a lawyer? I hate this, right?
Yes.
Reading through medical records, absolutely necessary. I hate it, right? What I want is to be able to build something to where I can be a present parent.
Right.
I can be things other than
You want to enjoy your life.
I want to enjoy my life. But to know that my firm can run, like if I want to go take a 2-week vacation, it's not going to fall apart, right? I'm not there yet. You're there, right? So, but I mean, like you have employees that know what their job duties are.
Which is
come
huge.
In, they know what they're not bugging you every 5 minutes.
No, and I don't even oversee them. They still work remotely.
Right. Okay. That's perfect, right? That's my point, right? I want to be able to step in for trial. I want to be able to step in for case strategy, major depositions,
Exactly.
like expert depos are getting ready to go to trial. Like that's what I want. And then the rest of the time I want to just work on marketing and stuff.
And I think that's a perfect mindset and business model.
But
Absolutely.
that's not, so the hard part, the part I struggled with was when I started to open my own firm, I followed and I studied entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Right? Steve Harvey also says that if you were sleeping 8 hours a day, you're never going to be successful.
He's saying you need to sleep more or less?
Less.
Yeah, see, I have a different philosophy.
See?
I do 10 hours a night.
Oh my God.
Easy. And it allows me to, when I'm working, it's like I'm focused. I'm able to really get stuff done.
I'm learning this now. I am learning this.
Oh yeah, 10 hours a night minimum.
Yeah, I'm learning how important sleep actually is because I was doing 6-7 hours because I like to get up super early. So I was getting up at 4. But I realized that if I went to bed, if I was asleep any later than 9, I'm napping by 2.
Right.
Like I'm.
So it cuts off your day a little bit, your productivity.
Yeah. But my point to you is it makes me feel better to talk to people who share that strategy, who are still successful, because when I started, I was following people like Andy Frisella. Do you know who that is?
I do not.
Okay. So, and the whole idea is like when you're tired, you push through and you have to work 16 hours a day. And if you really want it, like you're going to, and me, I tried that because I'm like, okay, if that's what it takes to be successful, that's what I'm going to do. And I burned out and got sick.
Yep.
My body was like, no, bitch. Like that's a good idea, but not for you.
You know what? And that works for some people.
It does.
And you know what? The reality is most of these, billionaires, that is their mentality.
Yes.
To get to a certain level of success, they're sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night, and they preach that to you.
Yeah.
You just have to see what works for you as a person.
What works for you.
If I'm sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night,
you're dead.
I'm missing deadlines.
Yeah.
I'm not getting discovery done.
No.
I'm not able to help
and you're
people.
Miserable, right?
And I'm miserable.
You're
yes.
miserable. So, and that's something that I've learned is that last Tuesday, I literally reached out to Emily. I was like, Emily, I can't do it today.
Yeah.
When you were my guest, I was like, I can't do it. I feel like crap. And I had a headache, and I realized that was my body saying, you're burning out. You need to stop. And probably once a month, there's one weekday morning a month where my body is like, stop. Because I'm not only running the business, but I got the kids and we got sports.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it with the kids and everything.
I drove to and from San Diego last Saturday and Sunday, both days for my daughter's soccer tournament.
Oh my God.
Sunday night, I was like, and then I'm like, I gotta get up and I gotta make sure I stay on top of this. And you know what I mean? Like, it's pressure. My point is you can still enjoy the journey and still take care of your body and still be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And just figuring out what works for you. There are plenty of my friends are the ones that, wanted big law, wanted to work 14 hours a day, and they're still happy doing that. Or they're not happy, but they're doing it.
I was going to say, are they really happy? I don't know a lot that are truly happy doing it.
No, not really. But, to switch topics.
Are you happy?
Oh, I'm very happy. And I feel
Why do you think you're so happy?
Happy and lucky that, I find that it's funny because there's the defense side of our industry and there's the plaintiff.
Yeah,
we need
both.
You need both, but you would think that they're connected and related. They're not.
They're not.
The lifestyle, you go through law school, you become an attorney, you do, we work against these same defense attorneys, same industry, but their jobs are a completely different side of the coin than ours.
Totally.
So on our side, you're able to be happy. You're able to, determine your own schedule. You can do, a lot of marketing stuff like you mentioned. It doesn't have to be just work, legal work. You can kind of spread yourself around a little.
Okay. So what part of your job makes you happy?
The networking. I think that
you're social.
Yes, I was blown away that when I switched to the plaintiff side, there's CALA events, there's, this and all the different networking groups, the educational seminars. This stuff doesn't really exist on the defense side.
No, they have the AS, Associated Southern California Defense.
Something, but like no one knows, no one goes,
Right.
And then I saw that, wow, our job can be fun. And that you're actually building your business by networking, meeting with people, going out and having fun.
Break that down for someone new. So how do you, and I'm asking you this because I was the total opposite, like networking, I
find that hard to believe.
Now, post-COVID Ashley, now I love it.
She's ready to go.
I am ready to go. But explain to me, or not even to me, to everyone out there who's watching, how you maximize, because everyone says get out and network.
I know, and no one knows what it
says,
means.
What do you do to turn it into business? How do you network? So how, if you were to include that as part of your class to Southwestern, what would you say?
And it is part of it. So it starts with just meeting as many people as you can and always being the nicest person you can be.
Okay.
And you're still not going to make connections with everyone, but it'll give you as many connections as you possibly can get.
Okay.
And the truth was, when I was very early on opening my own business, and I still kind of am, I'm very just blunt, upfront, and aggressive when it comes to networking.
Okay.
If I meet an attorney and I see that either they're not in my practice area or maybe they handle certain types of cases, I will very blatantly say, hey, this is what we specialize in. We would love to work with you. We give a great referral fee. And after doing that to 100 attorneys, you find 2 or 3 or 4 that consistently send you business. And then I kind of
Would you actively seek out people who did not practice PI?
I actively sought out everybody.
Okay.
So it kind of just worked out, and then you kind of figure out where the better cases come from.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really just very straightforward. I meet someone new. I know that they've got a big practice. I know that they only have 5 or 6 attorneys, and they might have thousands of cases. And I flat out say, hey, I'd love to work with you. This is our arrangement. This is our setup. We've got 3 attorneys. We handle everything through trial. And by doing that to 10, 20 people, one of them will start sending you stuff.
So when you give out your business card, which business card do you give out?
Well, I've got business cards. Do we have it with us?
Yes.
Let's see. Can they see it?
Let's see if I can do this. This is tell me you love your dog without telling
I'm a little obsessed with my dog.
Let's see if everyone can see this.
That's Otis Puppy at Law. He's our law firm mascot. He's actually on our website with a real biography where he graduated from, what his skills and specialties are. So definitely I hand out Otis's business card more than I hand out my own.
Oh my God, do you really?
Yeah. Well, these days no one wants business cards.
How do you do it?
No one under 40 wants business cards anymore.
What do they want?
They want either a number or a picture of Otis on a card.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. So someone was telling me that they actually started using this thing where you can one person told me they have this thing where you can scan it on your phone, like when you go into a restaurant,
right?
Like a menu, you scan it and it adds it to your contacts. Or someone else said, you know what? If someone wants my business card, I literally put my contact in their phone.
Yeah, that's what I do every time. If I'm meeting with someone who's another attorney, it's give me your cell phone number. It's no longer here's a business card and follow up. And the reality is if you haven't made a connection enough to exchange phone numbers, you probably need to work on the connection again anyways. So maybe wait till you meet them again at the next event.
Interesting.
I won't do the business card thing usually. Obviously, if I'm meeting a bunch of people, why not? But the direct good connections tend to come not from the business cards, but from the direct connections, just exchanging phone numbers.
See, I wouldn't put my number as a contact in someone's phone because that's going to get lost, right? I would do what you do. I would send a text message with my name in it. So
That's exactly what I do. I force them to exchange numbers and then I immediately send a text with my name, 100%.
Yeah, I think that's more personal, more effective. And another, where did I hear this? I either heard it in an audiobook or I read it that said, because I have trouble with people's names.
As do I. Whereas if I meet a dog, I remember its name in 2 seconds forever. It's ridiculous.
So you're like a true dog person, but you only have one dog.
Yeah, but I've heard a lot of people are like that. But yeah, people's names, I'm no luck.
That's funny. So a trick that I learned that I actually use and it helps is, and I started doing this in the gym as like practice, when you meet someone, repeat their name back to them. So if they say, hi, Ashley, I'm Daniel. I'm like, hi, Daniel. It's really nice to meet you.
And it works, doesn't it?
And then I use it in Daniel, it was really nice to meet you.
Yeah, I think if you use it 3 times, you're good. Yep.
And I will remember it that, like, I've literally memorized like 4 people's names in the gym.
Yeah.
specifically.
It's just the effort. You need to put that effort in yourself.
Yeah, but I think networking alone is when you're using it as true networking, as marketing, it's a skill you need to actually learn how to do. And
you have
people
to.
don't know how to do it.
And you have to force yourself to enjoy it as much as you can.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, you know.
You gotta like people.
You gotta like people, even if you don't.
COVID is changing that, because I know before COVID, like the first 3 months of COVID, I was like, oh my God, this is heaven. Like
I was the same way.
I don't have to go anywhere. Like I can't.
Pajamas every day.
Yeah.
I think I told Ashley this is the first time I put pants on in like 6 months. But
But then I was like, like 3 months in, I started getting really lonely. And I was like, and then I would take walks just to see other people.
Right.
And then having people literally cross the street away from me because they're.
I know, it's so sad when people do that.
Or the virus that's going to kill them. I was like, okay, well, that was sobering. Now, unfortunately, we have the whole Delta variant to deal with. But like now, I'm like, I want to meet people. But then the question becomes, how do you turn this contact into business? And I think you just said it.
Yeah.
So that's part of your class with your...
Yeah, we talk about that, how to get clients, how to build a business. And, the key with that, like I said, don't expect that connection from everyone you meet. It's literally 2% is the math I put on it. For every 50 attorneys I meet, one of them will send me cases.
So explain to me, what does a typical day look like for you?
So for me, my typical day is I'll get up I try to get a little earlier now, like 7:38.
Oh, you are sleeping that late?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, for sure. Unless we have to go to court or like trials or anything. Right now it's still, kind of free time.
Right.
Get up, go to get a nice little coffee with my dog.
Okay.
Then we come back home. That's when I go through emails. And then after I go through my emails, then I'll go into the office for about an hour or 2 hours if everybody's in there. So we work, basically our schedule is defined by our law students. So we have externs every semester and every summer. So
Are you paying these students?
Yeah, so they actually changed the rules. It used to be just school credit.
Yeah.
Now they're eligible to be paid also.
Okay.
So since they're eligible, I figure I never liked the idea of working for free as a law student. So yeah, we do pay them, but they come in either 2 or 3 days a week, and those are the days that we have, the associates come in and everyone else too.
Okay.
And so yeah, we go in for a couple hours, and then I go home, take a little break, a little me time. And then I usually go back to the office for, about an hour at the end of the day to check in on everything. And then, pretty much done by 5, other than, taking calls and emails, of course, throughout the night.
And then what do you do on your free time?
Free time is got very into tennis, interestingly enough, during COVID, as I feel like everyone has. It's like a perfect COVID sport.
Yeah.
Finally getting back into socializing and going out to dinners and networking events and great conventions.
Okay. So it sounds like you've got a system in place in your office where you don't have to be there the full day to make sure that things are running smoothly. What do you attribute to your current lifestyle? Because that's an amazing way to live. Like you really can truly enjoy your life.
Yeah, and I think we all can on the plaintiff side.
Yeah, so talk about that. Like I'm not there yet, right? Like my hands still have to be in it,
Right. So the biggest thing, and obviously this, it's a catch-22, is
I think hiring other attorneys.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I am so lucky. I've got 2 associates, really 1.5, because one of them splits time with me in another firm. They're incredible.
That's a good idea, by the way.
It's actually a perfect situation for me. I have my one associate who works full-time. She does all my appearances. And then this other associate who works for me part-time, he's a law in motion specialist, so he can do all the law in motion.
And he works for you and another firm.
Exactly.
So is he like an independent contractor?
No, I have him hired. I hope I'm doing it correctly, but he's on my payroll as just basically a part-time employee.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's on another firm's payroll, so he's getting full-time work, but split between the two of you.
Yeah, so that's actually worked really well, and it might be a good setup for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because having I always preach, having a young new lawyer associate is so valuable compared to, I don't want to, a assistant or paralegal, because they can go to court for you.
Yeah.
And they can defend depositions for you, which is huge. How many soft tissue rear-end auto accidents do you need to defend? So that's something that's good to have someone to kind of clear up your time.
Doing that.
Oh, it's the worst thing ever.
I feel like a prisoner.
You feel like a prisoner.
Like,
so that was a huge thing that allowed me to get my system in place, was having the right people working for me.
Got it. Okay.
But obviously it's a catch-22. When do you hire?
Yeah.
You can't hire too early. I made that mistake too. I hired a very experienced attorney a little while ago and paid him what he was worth, which I couldn't afford. But I thought I could afford it. So after a little while, that kind of backfired a little.
Okay.
So I kind of backtracked a little.
Did it make you more money? Did
No.
you do it thinking it was going to make you more money?
I did it thinking it would just take everything off my plate up until trials.
And it did not.
It did not. Well, no, I take that back. It did have that effect, but I just couldn't afford it.
Okay.
So I had to kind of backtrack and went back to hiring kind of newer attorneys and teach them kind of the ropes and everything. And I find that...
So you had to spend more time training, but once you... Like, I found... I did that too, but not with attorneys. Like, I was hiring very experienced paralegals thinking that it was going to save me training time. That
you
turned
still
out
have to train them, your system and everything.
It did, but it also turned out I was inheriting someone else's bad habits too.
Yes.
So I ended up getting a paralegal straight out of paralegal school.
Right, which is perfect.
And this girl is like, let me not call her a girl, that was terrible. This woman is, because she was so hungry to learn and because she actively went to and paid for paralegal school, I knew this was actually like her career choice.
Right.
And she's such a quick learner and she's so dedicated to the practice. Investing the time to train her, and
It's
now
worth
I
it.
can see now she's like,
How long has she been with you?
probably 6 months.
Oh, which means she's at the stage where she probably really
She's starting
gets...
to really like just, like I can be here with you and I know my cases are being tended to, right? Like she's still doing this and she could do so much that I can do. The only difference is I got to make the decisions, do the depots and all that.
Yeah,
so.
and at the end of the day, you're a business owner and a lawyer, and you need to be able to kind of delegate that work as much as possible.
100%. And it is wonderful knowing that I can go to my kids' games and know that she's there working, right? And right now we've got a setup where, I don't need to be in a physical office. So, and especially with COVID, like sometimes she's even working remotely or she'll come to my house, right?
Yeah.
So the deal was we had to wear masks until everyone was fully vaccinated. Now everyone's fully vaccinated, but now I'm like, what do I do with the Delta variant? But anyway.
Save that for another topic.
Yes, but the point is I think you're right. Like hiring her was such an epic game changer. And I make sure that she knows she's appreciated. So like if she touches the file and the file settles, she gets a bonus.
And I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Making sure, I can't afford to pay my attorneys what they deserve. Absolutely. I'm nowhere close to what they deserve. But I make up for it by letting them know they're so appreciated.
Yeah.
If they ever need a day off, I don't care if it's tomorrow.
Me too.
It's you go. You have fun.
Yep. Yes.
They work, our hours are 9:30 to 5 in the office. I don't want them working 5:01 because I find that they're going to do better work during those 6 whatever hours versus staying longer. They are younger. I kind of think that is the millennial mentality, and I say that in a positive way. Basically, to be very efficient with your work. Our age while you're there. I'd rather someone really be into it, work hard for 5, even 4 hours, than be there for 7 or 8 and be half into it.
Yeah. I was teaching my paralegal how to do a howl sheet.
Right.
I left to go run an errand. I came back. I could tell she was just frustrated.
Oh yeah.
Like it's kind of a hard thing to learn, right?
Oh, it's. You need to do it like 3 times before you get what you're looking at. Yeah.
Yes. So her reading the bills, like I walked in and I looked at her and I'm like, are you frustrated? She was like, you just
don't get it.
Don't understand this bill. I said, shut your laptop down. I want you to shut your laptop down.
Go take a nap and come back.
No, I was like, let's go. And I walked her over to a cafe and we had breakfast. We came back. I said, I want you to put your laptop in your bag. And she's like totally confused. And I was like, I want you to go home and enjoy the rest of the day on me. We're going to start this again tomorrow. Because I told her, I said, listen, burnout is real.
Oh, first your brain stops working. It's,
yes.
Of course.
I said, burnout is real and personal injury. I said, I need you're going to look at this tomorrow with a fresh set of eyes. I was like, trust me, this is going to make sense to you tomorrow, right? I used to have to do it with the bar exam.
Oh, 100%.
Like if I had a concept, I'd have to walk away from the concept and come back the next day.
And it's amazing. Something will go from being a different language to finally it clicks.
Like,
and
that's all that was, right?
Exactly.
So, and she did it. She came back the next day, and that was also my way of letting her know I care about you as a person.
Right.
and I want you to be with me for the long haul. So I'm going to make sure I take care of you mentally and financially.
And they should never be worried that they're not getting something.
Right. Yeah, I told her, I was like, I told her, if I got to tell you something 2 or 3 times and it's on the law, that's okay.
Yes.
Like, that's a language you got to learn, right? But if same thing, like if she tells me like, hey, I'm going to go take I need to take a day off tomorrow. I'm like, I don't even care why. Have fun, go.
Exactly. Because then they come back the next day and they're ready to work. It's awesome.
Yeah. So I think that is really important. So it sounds like because you have put the systems in place that you now can run a successful practice and enjoy your life.
Right.
Right.
Other than when trials come back. That's the one exception.
That's done. Like
when you have trials coming up, you're off the grid for that 3. So when I give you my hours and how much I work, that is trial exceptions.
We know.
Yes.
I got a trial coming up the 17th, and my paralegal was asking me, she's like, so I didn't plan anything in September. I'm like, don't.
Yes, you need to be here during that time.
I said the first 2 weeks of September are going to be trial prep. The second 2 weeks of September are trial. Do not schedule a deposition.
And that's something, yep, my associates will be working, after 5 during the pre-trial, maybe on a weekend.
Yeah.
So, that's daily schedule. That's more COVID's non-trial schedule.
But I also let her know during the interview, like, you're coming to work for a trial firm. So understand that when the trials are going, that's
and you want someone who's into that.
Yes. Person comes to you and says, I want to start my own firm. What are the 3 tips that you would give that person?
Great question, because there's so many good tips to give new attorneys looking to start their own. So the first one is what we kind of talked about before, which is start early.
Yes, start early.
That's a big thing. You can always find another job, and give yourself time to let it develop. Even if you start the most successful practice in our industry on day 1, you don't get paid till day 600, because that's how long the cases take. So there's no such thing as having success immediately.
Right.
So that's the first thing is start early and be patient. Those kind of go together. The second really important thing, this was probably the biggest thing for me out of anything, is mentorship. You gotta find good mentors that you trust, that you can pick up the phone every day and call and ask them questions. I'm not exaggerating. I've got 3 or 4 mentors that I call almost every day with stuff I don't know how to do. And so that's why I feel like I love helping out other people.
Because you got it.
It's just because I got that help. And that's the only way I was able to, build the business.
Okay.
So, I have mentors that are not only, kind of more experienced trial lawyers, in their 60s and 70s who are incredible, but I've also got mentors who are just a few years older than me, because they're the ones that remember how to do the issues that are coming up for me. How to deal with technology stuff. So mentorship, I think, is huge. We talked about, starting early, mentorship, and, not being afraid to ask questions. And that kind of goes along with the mentorship. You're not going to know how to do anything when you start. So you need people to ask questions, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Even if you think they're stupid, there's really, and I know everyone said, there's no such thing as a stupid question. When you're starting a practice, what's the statute of limitations for a PI case? At some point, you've got to look that up, or ask somebody. It's basic. But have people you can go to and ask questions, and also figure out how to learn stuff on your own as much as possible too.
Call Google.
Google is big. Yep.
Google's huge. Last question I did not tell you I was going to ask. Because I never tell anybody. One thing about you that most people who know you professionally don't know.
Let's see, that know me professionally don't know.
Not no one, but most
Well, we
people.
got the dog stuff out of the way. I'm obsessed with my dog.
Okay, that's not something that most people don't know.
That's true.
It's on your business card. That was a very clever thing to do, by the way.
It's worked out great.
Yeah, because if I got a card with someone's puppy on it,
you would keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a law. So, and I am going to keep this.
That most people don't know. Let's say, I don't know how exciting this is for the group. My brother just got married last weekend, and that's my only sibling, so it was big that he got married last weekend. I don't think anyone knows that yet.
Well, congratulations
thank
to your
you.
brother.
And then professionally...
No, just something about you, like maybe a talent, a hobby that you have that a lot of people don't know about. Like, I always find out super interesting things about people when they ask that question that no one knows. Like,
let's see. I'm big on bubble baths. I take a daily bubble bath. That helps me relax everything.
Swear to God?
Swear to God. Bubble bath. I've got the oils. I've got the bath bombs. I think that's big. Full hour of relaxation every day.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that. Is that at night or in the morning?
So it's not in the morning. It's either when I just can't work anymore, 4 or 5 o'clock hits, or it'll be a nighttime thing.
Okay. So so you're big into self-care.
That's really the main thing I do, but I guess if you consider that, yes. That sums up the entirety of my self-care, but that's enough for me, yes.
Okay, so that's the main thing you do for self-care. Well, I mean, you do tennis too, right?
And I shower.
High five.
Yes, we shower.
Shower.
Not together. Yes, and tennis. Thank God for tennis. Since COVID started, it just kind of saved our lives.
Yeah, I'm so grateful, and
Well,
I mean,
thank
you already
you.
know how I feel about you. I think you're absolutely awesome, and I have
appreciate
used.
it.
And if anybody needs samples, I've never seen anything like your website.
Oh, and I love giving them out. It makes me
Yeah.
happy to share them because it's just when you're a new attorney, it just takes up so much time to put that together. Why
I
spend the
have
time?
directed my paralegal to your site.
Good,
I'm like, if
yeah.
you need it, it's on Dan.
I get random calls from paralegals throughout the state who find them, and I get very excited when they call me.
I love it. I love it. So thank you so much. Oh, please tell people where they can find you if they have questions.
Justice HQ at the moment,
Okay.
but after now they can find me. Well, I mean, like
Email
physical location.
address, like
I'm
how
located in
can-
West LA.
How can they contact you?
Cell, like I said, I'm all about the cell phone, 818-970-0524. Email dselarz@selarzlaw.com. You can just kind of Google it to look it up.
And that is Selarz.
Yes, thank you. Very tough name. I get it misspelled all the time.
Yes.
And other than that, I'm just in West LA. I live and work both in Brentwood, so I don't go too far from there, other than to
Amazing.
join Ashley here.
Amazing. So thank you so much, and thank you everyone for joining me for
Thank
this
you, guys.
week's edition of Level Up with Laiken. Sending you lots of love, joy, and success this week. We'll see you next week.
Aw, what a good sign off.
Thank you.
Thank you.